Bitcoin and Ethereum, the kings of the market, are down bad in what's looking like the next crypto winter. A sharp decline like this isn't something new for Bitcoin, but this is the first time we've seen Ethereum literally jump off a cliff. So what can we expect from these two currencies, and where will the market go from here? Keep watching as we're about to tell you all that and more. First up, it's not as bad as 2017. Bitcoin, aka digital gold, was up big time after soaring to an all-time high of $70,000 just 10 months ago. And you know how things go. Whenever Bitcoin is up, the market is up. But after the recent collapse of the Terra Foundation, investors are full of fear as they don't know what to expect from the super volatile market. Bitcoin has taken a real beating as it's dropped to just $20,000 with a significant drop in volume as well. And while things look really bad, they still aren't as bad as 2017, when digital gold dropped by a staggering 80%. Still, a crash is a crash. This is perhaps the worst market crash we've seen since a very long time, and that's mainly because the hit altcoins have taken. But what about Bitcoin now? Is it ever going to recover? Are we ever going to see the day it crosses six figures? Well, there's a lot of experts who think it won't only shatter the 100,000 mark, but it'll exceed that and maybe touch 250K. But we'll let you in on something different. We don't know how high it can go, but if there's one thing we can tell you, it's not going to dip below $15,000 ever. So if you were to buy one right now, this is probably the cheapest price you'd get it at. And what about the profit? Well, there's no limit with an asset like Bitcoin, but you better be willing to wait a good couple of years to see some real gains in the market. Not only are we going into a global recession, but we're going into it after 10 plus years of economic boom. So it's only natural for things to be a little slow as we enter what seems like the greatest bear market of all time. Next, let's talk about the second best. For Ethereum, a fall like this is really new. This is probably the first time we've seen the asset fall from such a dizzying height. Because think about it, Bitcoin always goes through a correction after every year or so. But Ethereum, the magical coin, continued to climb and climb, reaching an all-time high of over $4,800. Where does it sit now? Well, the coin is trading like $2 over 1,050 with a tiny daily volume. And you'd sort of expect people to load up their wallets considering how cheap it is, but people just don't have money to invest anymore. The world was doing pretty good back in 2019 and 2020 before the coronavirus hit. Investors were throwing money into the second best asset on the market, taking its capitalization into the billions. But considering how there's extreme fear in the market, it'll be a long time until we get to see Ethereum cross the $4,000 mark again. Oh, and in case you've been following the news, Ethereum might possibly merge to proof of stake, which might end up launching its price back up again. Anyway, the situation is a bit alarming for Bitcoin and Ethereum. Even though the market cap has increased by $200 billion, there hasn't been a significant shift in either of their prices. And that's probably because assets like ADA, XRP, Matic, Uniswap, and a ton of other altcoins are super cheap right now. So investors continue to pour their funds into those coins because they'll probably give a better ROI. Don't believe us? Well, imagine if you bought an Ethereum right now for $1,052, and after a year, it reached an all-time high again. You would make somewhere around $3,700. But say you bought $1,000 worth of Matic, which could get you around 1,620 coins, and imagine it crosses its all-time high by just 0.8 cents to touch $3. You'd make $5,076 in total with a profit of $4,076. That's why we think investors are more interested in smaller altcoins, because they're offering high ROIs. Now for the market. Frankly speaking, the market needs Bitcoin and Ethereum. Without these two currencies, everything else is still yet to actually make it, if you know what we mean. Ethereum is the second mainstream asset to touch peaks of almost $5,000. Bitcoin is the king of the market, worth almost $70,000 at its peak. Without these two assets, crypto is just an industry waiting to take off. So while there are assets offering better ROIs, BTC and ETH will definitely take off. It's just a matter of when and how much you can wait. Not to mention both assets are recording a higher trading volume every single day. All we gotta do is wait until the global economy starts to do a little better and watch the money pour in. Oh, and for all coins to actually give a higher ROI, they need Bitcoin to rise again, because that's the cycle. When Bitcoin rises, everything rises. Time for some related news. Next up, is this good news? A lot of countries placed financial sanctions on the Russians in the hopes to freeze their economy. And to be honest, they were successful at first, but since Russia supplies so much gas and oil, it couldn't work out for too long. To make things even easier, Russia has now said that it is willing to accept payments from other countries in the form of cryptocurrencies. Who would have even thought? And even though this is a really good thing for cryptos, since it's one step closer to having Bitcoin identified as a legal tender, it's kind of a moral dilemma, you know? The whole point of placing sanctions on Russia was to stop them from their aggression in Ukraine. And after that, Russia wanted the trade partners to pay in rubles to protect their currency. And after a lot of partners objected to that, now they've offered payments in cryptocurrencies. This just raises so many questions in our head. As much good as there is to cryptocurrencies, does this mean nearly anything can be funded via digital currencies? We're sure you've heard about those reports on how digital currencies were used to fund terror groups all over the world. But what's the matter with mining? And we don't really understand why the United States has such a problem with mining. They've been advising Japan to get their citizens to stop mining operations in Russia. Since there's no crackdown on mining or any sort of legal repercussions, a lot of Japanese citizens have set up a huge mining factory in southern Siberia. And we're guessing the Russian government obviously knows all this and probably cashes in on it as well. But what's the problem with mining? And why should the Japanese government have to take action on their own citizens for mining in Russia? It really makes no sense, to be honest. Like, you mine crypto in every state of America, then why can't people set up mining operations in Russia? Anyway, it seems like neither Japan or Russia are concerned with what Washington has to say about their mining operations. It sucks to see crypto getting dragged into politics. That whole story about Russia willing to accept payments in crypto will only make digital assets look bad. And aren't there other ways to hold Russians accountable for Ukraine? Why do you have to ban mining? Anyway, even if you're able to get Japan to shut down exchanges and mining operations in Russia, do you think the Russians would ever stop mining? They probably have some of the most advanced and impressive mining rigs in the entire world. Finally, the bailouts have started. It was gonna happen eventually, guys, but we're glad there's a hero to save the industry while all this is happening. SBF continues to bail out crypto firms amidst the extremely difficult market conditions. First, his exchange FTX offered $250 million as a line of credit to crypto lender BlockFi. SBF then gave Voyager Digital $500 million of credit, and after 2 weeks of giving $250 million to BlockFi, it reached an agreement to acquire the platform altogether. SBF claims he still has a couple of billions to help companies survive the crash. He's taking the phrase "bear markets are for building" literally, and we really gotta hand it to the SBF for steering clear of Celsius. They don't deserve a single dime, and we'd rather watch them file for bankruptcy and pay investors out of their own pockets. The CEO of Binance CZ is also negotiating with multiple companies and willing to offer bailout packages as long as it's a good deal. That's it from our side, folks. So what do you think? Will BTC and ETH ever shatter their all-time high again? And how long will it take for markets to recover? Let us know in the comments below. Remember, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more exciting videos in the future. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.